the clock struck midnight Eastern Standard Time on May 14th, Guacamelee ended up taking over Journey by just a few hundred votes. It was a close race throughout, and I honestly didn't know which was going to win. But the fans have spoken. Journey will get its moment in the spotlight at some point or another. Drinkbox Studios. I've never heard of them until I purchased Guacamelee, but one research session later and I discovered that they're also responsible for Tales from Space, Mutant Blob's Attack. A title I've seen in action a few times and it looked pretty fun from what I could tell, but Guacamelee is the first game I ever purchased that they published, thanks to you guys. Until the Indie Marathon, I've only faintly heard about Guacamelee. I didn't see any trailers for it and I didn't know what to make of the box art. A luchador, a luchadora, a skeleton matador, and a chicken. So why was I getting numerous requests for this? Two things. One, the gameplay mechanics of Guacamelee are a mix of classic beat-em-up action and Metroidvania-styled exploration, which you guys know I'm always down for, so thanks for being considerate. Two, the main character's name is Juan. No shit, that's the other reason why people wanted me to look at this. I'm flattered, I guess? I don't know. But why don't we boot up my PS3 and see what Guacamelee has to offer? PC users can also get the game via Steam, and hey, if you got a PS Vita, you can use the crossplay feature for some handheld action. Guacamelee stars Juan, a common villager in the pokey old town of Pueblucho, located in a world where being a luchador means everything. Jesus himself was a luchador in this world. In a later cutscene, we learn that Juan always wanted to be a heroic luchador, but he just couldn't cut it and ended up living a rather meek existence. That is until one day where his town is attacked by the evil Carlos Calaca, who came to kidnap the president's daughter as a sacrifice to gain ultimate power. Because he had feelings toward her, Juan attempts to rescue the president's daughter, and I keep referring to her as that because I don't think she's ever given a name in this game, but he fails and winds up dead as a result. Fortunately, Juan manages to escape the world of the dead by inheriting the powers of a special mask given to him by the mystical Tostada, a character that only appears for the sake of giving Juan the mask, but can also be played as by letting a buddy join in on the action via cooperative gameplay. With the power of the luchador welling inside him, Juan begins his quest to travel through numerous locations and stop the evil Carlos Calaca from sacrificing his beloved president's daughter. When I purchased the game, I ended up buying the Bundle Fantastico pack that came with the added DLC costumes and the El Diablo domain expansion that can quite literally be platforming hell. I spent most of my adventure in the Juanita costume, a female version of Juan that packs stronger attacks at the cost of a weaker throw, but I didn't notice that much of a decrease in usefulness except for the minor occasion I had to throw these cactus grenades back at these cactus assholes in order to beat them. I hear there's this Super Turbo Championship HD Remix Arcade Edition .32 Betamax version coming out for the PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Steam, and Wii U sometime soon, so if you haven't purchased the game yet and are curious enough to do so after watching this, I'd recommend waiting for that re-release. Save yourself a buck or two. Guacamelee, to put it bluntly, is a damn fun game. You attack the enemy with your basic 3-hit combos, and when the triangle prompt appears over their heads, you can grab the opponent and give them a good hauling for added damage and to knock the other opponents off their feet. You can knock your foes into the air in the middle of a combo and proceed to give them more of a walloping and finish things off with a satisfying throw. With fast fingers, you can dodge enemy assault by either hitting the appropriate shoulder button or by tilting the right analog stick. I'm one of those guys who repeatedly dodge roll when I'm on the move. It makes Juan look like he has horrible balance and can't stay on his feet. Enemies can drop health and money when they're defeated, but you can also score money in item pickups by helping people with quick side quests in either your hometown or in Santa Luchita. You can spend that money in shops that are located everywhere. It could be an ancient temple, a dead version of that temple, hell itself, or on the highest mountains. Shops are where you can switch the costumes you earn in El Diablo's domain, or the DLC ones you bought online. You can buy some nifty moves like the hard-hitting pile driver, a German suplex, or a boot to the head. Health and stamina regeneration can also be improved here, and as you probably expect, you can permanently increase both attributes by finding treasure chests that hold heart pieces for health, or mass pieces for your stamina. If you suffer from any sort of epilepsy though, I'd watch out for those sequences when you complete a heart container, a mask, or gain a new power-up overall. The entire screen flashes with bright colors for only a few seconds, and I have no prior history to seizures and all that, but even I had to look away after getting my 10th or so upgrade. It's irritating after some time. The beat-em-up action gets a bit on the dull side early on, but the formula begins to liven up the moment you get your first attack upgrade. Oh, a Chozo statue. How much longer must I wait, faithful bounty hunter? Well, they're not called Chozo statues, but rather Chuzu statues, but they behave exactly the same way as the former. Whoever was in charge of the production of this game was clearly not only a fan of the Metroidvania style, but Metroid specifically. I'm only scratching the tip of the iceberg here. There are loads of references to other classic franchises like Mario, Zelda, Final Fantasy, Mega Man, not to mention the assload of parodies to internet culture and memes. Not to harp on it, but it's kind of distracting at times, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up dating the game in the long run. But it is enough tongue-in-cheek writing and visuals to take my mind off of it, and I can tell the developers are having a great time making this game. This little dude right here fucks me up all the time, and I can't tell whether it's because his expression never changes when you're destroying his alcohol supply, or the expression itself. So about those Chuzu statues. The new moves you can score from them range from your basic double jump and wall jump, but a few of them also have practical combat applications, like OLMECS Headbutt, which makes for a great combo finisher, the Frog Splash for some ground pounding goodness, and the Dashing Derp Derp, a name that makes me chuckle, but also packs a hell of a punch. You need stamina to perform these moves, and you'll tire out if you use too many at once, but your stamina meter regenerates after a short amount of time, and it can be increased as I brought up earlier. These special abilities are not only what you need to explore more of the world, but they add the spice of variety to your battle combos, and the more hits you can land on your opponent, the greater your rewards will be. In a way, it's like chaining hits in Street Fighter or Super Smash Bros. Considering how you activate the physical techniques. Each attack having its own visual streak of colors only makes them stick out more. The art direction's absence of outlines and puppet-like animation feels like a mixture of Mucha Lucha, Samurai Jack, and for some reason South Park, resulting in something that could be both cool to the eyes and charismatic when things are heating up. The music's fine, but I can only remember some of it at the moment. I've only been playing the game non-stop for a week though, so that could be why. It's rich in Spanish influence and that distinctive video game synth that's bound to make some of these tracks stick in my head at some point or another, and the bundle Fantastico comes with a download of the soundtrack, so I should probably listen to it again via that way. It never got annoying or ear-gritting at any point, so if I can say anything else about it, well there you go. After certain events, Juan will later learn how to transform into a chicken at will, like how Alucard can transform into a wolf or bat. He'll also learn how to switch between the world of the living and the world of the dead. Dimension switching is largely used to climb on platforms that are only visible in one dimension, or to find hidden pathways to locate optional money chests. Guacamelee's challenge scales on a fairly standard level as you score more upgrades, defeat gargantuan beasts, and gradually deal with Carlos Calaca's henchmen. Death is a slap on the wrist in this game. You fall down a bottomless pit and you're warped right back to where you fell off, no damage done. Though that doesn't make the occasional knockback any less frustrating. I mean, is it ever not though? Enemies later on start getting colored shields that you have to break by using a specific move. It's not a big deal until they start filling the room with a bunch of them, and then I'm a little aggravated. I can only multitask and persistently dodge attacks for so long. Having a friend over for co-op mitigates some of these quirks, and I highly recommend it if you have a good old chum to join you in for the action. One player can even enter a bubble state to let the other player deal with those precise platforming challenges. A good time for all, assuming you and your friend doesn't completely suck. The abundance of shops refill your health completely just by passing them, and they also act as checkpoints should you happen to die. You're gonna beat Guacamelee as long as you keep playing, and the main story can be beaten in a day if you don't go after any of the optional stuff. Guacamelee is a short game regardless though, but I think for $15 you're getting your money's worth, definitely. The optional stuff can make you tear your hair off if you're not a platformer fanatic. The DLC El Diablo's Domain contains a treasure trove of crazy obstacles to complete for those exclusive costumes, and in order to get the best ending in this game, you have to dig deep into the world map and score these special mass pieces that host trials that require strict timing, critical thinking, and near mastery of all of your special abilities. As if the disappearing, reappearing blocks in Mega Man didn't give me enough shit when I couldn't use Rush Jet, this game brings them back in full fucking force when nobody asked them to. You get a new ability for your chicken form though if you manage to collect all the pieces, and I like it merely because it's like Samus' space jump from Metroid 2 and beyond. Not sure if it was worth the cramped fingers, but I suppose I'll live. Amidst all the movement upgrades from the double jump or the flying chicken, I felt it was lacking in a specific ability, a speed booster. The closest we get is the goat climb that lets you blaze up vertical shafts, and the goat fly which you can only perform by clinging onto a wall and dashing in a straight line. About as effective as a horizontal shine spark from Super Metroid. You get these two upgrades very late into the game to boot. Guacamelee's world design is fine enough without a speed booster, so consider this a nitpick, but I think it would have helped just a tad whenever I had to backtrack for hidden treasure I can now get with the new upgrades I earned. Guacamelee is a game packed with high-flying fun, whether you're by yourself or with a friend. Great controls, plenty of things to do to collect money for shops, upgrades to improve yourself and to keep things moving, and a presentation I'm sure a lot of gamers will find charming. I'd like to thank those who voted, and thanks also for showing me a Metroidvania I'm happy to add to my collection. I'll stress again though, if you haven't already purchased the game, I would wait until the Super Turbo Championship Continuum Shift Extend Chrono Phantasma Deluxe Combo Meal Edition, as it has all the added DLC and newly added content exclusive to that version of the game. As for the next review, it's time to go back to Sonic the Hedgehog. So which of these three will be the focus of the next review? Will it be the 32X exclusive Knuckles Chaotix, the Blue Hedgehog's debut on the Nintendo Wii, Sonic and the Secret Rings, or that other racing game starring Sonic and his merry band of sidekicks? Choose wisely as the deadline isn't too far off this time around, and once again, happy gaming.